Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the channel. And today it has been announced that Brittney Griner, the WNBA star who's being held in Russia for several months now, since February, I believe, on charges of bringing in drugs and hash oil, has pled guilty and told the judge that there was no intent to break the law. Now, she's been pleading not guilty since she's been there. She was going to go to trial, face 10 years in jail. Russia, very strict on drugs, like a lot of other countries are. But today, in a turn of events, she has pled guilty. Now, my guess is there's been a backwoods, backroom deal to where she can plead guilty, and either Russia's going to trade with an admission, they're going to trade her for something, or she's going to pay a big fine and get out of jail, or she pled guilty because they told her she'll do 1 year in jail. She's already been there 6 months. She's only got 6 months to go. Some kind of deal that made sense to her and her attorney, her appointed attorney over in Russia, or to the United States. Is she a political pawn? Maybe. I think a little bit, but I think they're just legitimately harsh on drug traffickers, drug users, drug people. So I think she put herself in a bad position. No matter how much money she or fame she has, she should have absolutely followed their rules. It was a dumb thing to do. And now she's got to face the wrath of Russia during a really bad time. Obviously, the war's still going on in Ukraine. And I think at the end of the day, they have worked out some sort of deal. I think she will come home in the next few months or year, or maybe right away if the White House got involved. I don't know if they're doing a prisoner swap. We'll have to see. But let's go check out her picture from court today, which has become familiar, and check out her guilty plea on the charge of drugs and drug trafficking. All right, so the Brittney Griner story I took from USA Today because I thought this was the best coverage of it from Mike Freeman from today, July 7th at 2:20 in the afternoon, just a little while ago. It says Brittney Griner's guilty plea on Thursday in a Russian court on drug charges may have been part of a strategy to get a more lenient sentence, an expert on the Russian legal system told USA Today Sports. From the courtroom that Griner entered a guilty plea and could face up to 10 years in prison. The Russians have accused Griner of large-scale drug transportation. Griner has been in Russian custody since February 17th, and she spoke to the court during her plea. I'd like to plead guilty, Your Honor, but there was no intent. I didn't want to break the law, Griner said in English, according to Reuters, which was then translated into Russian for the court. Jamison Firestone, an attorney, Russian legal expert, and one of the main proponents of the Magnitsky Act, the 2012 law that allows the U.S. government to sanction human rights violators, believes the admitting guilt could possibly allow the Russians to show Griner leniency. I'm assuming that she had the cartridges with her, Firestone told USA Today on Thursday. I'm also assuming that anyone with a brain could see that they were for her own personal use and that this was not large-scale transportation of drugs. If she crossed the border with drugs, she has to serve time. To deny she had the stuff with her if she did, or to argue whether it was a large-scale transportation of drugs or not, would have gotten her the maximum sentence. There's no nuance in Russian criminal law. She'd be viewed as if she was spitting in the face of the system. Firestone added, but admitting guilt to having the drugs, but also saying there was no intent, allows the powers that be to show leniency if they're so inclined. Firestone said the next possible step would be the Russians deciding to grant that leniency or potentially using Griner as a bargaining chip in a possible future prisoner exchange with the United States. Political decision will now be made whether to be lenient or to use her as a bargaining chip. I think she'll almost certainly be sentenced to time in a prison camp, but they're either going to surprise us and be somewhat lenient with a short sentence, which she will then serve, or they'll give her a long sentence and she'll eventually be exchanged for someone. The WNBA Players Association released a statement on Thursday saying Griner is wrongfully detained and will continue fighting for her release. The WNBA stands with Griner, the statement read in part. With a 99% conviction rate, Russia's process is its own. You can't navigate it or even understand it like our own legal system. What we do know is that the U.S. State Department determined that Brittney Griner was wrongfully detained for a reason and will continue negotiating for her release regardless of the legal process. We'll leave it at that. So I think she did have the drugs. I don't think there's any question she had them. I don't think there's any question she violated Russian law, and she has to kind of face the consequences of that. Are they pushing it because of the current political situation? Absolutely. Are they going to use her as a bargaining chip? Possibly. I think that because she served March, April, May, June, July, she's been there almost 5 months. I believe they'll give her something like a year in jail. She'll have to go serve 7 months, and they might come up with a negotiation in the first couple months to get her back. I think she is home before the end of the year, but we'll have to wait and see. What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. As always, let me know whether you think she'll be home in a couple of months right away, or if she's going to serve a long sentence in a Russian prison camp. With that said, I'll leave it up to you all to leave me those comments and hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps me out if you turn that thumb blue. And if you could subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot to me as well, so I can test that YouTube algorithm out correctly at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you as always, and have a wonderful rest of your day.